sponsorship, but then I informed her that it wasn't her on the Bud Light can. It was Dylan Mulvaney. And Dylan Mulvaney cost Bud Light $35 million in market cap. That was the worst commercial ever made, by the way, for those few people that want to hear that. Most people don't care, but I would. I wouldn't want to hire Dylan anytime soon. Think of it, they hired Dylan Mulvaney, and their market cap has gone down by $35 billion. Who wrote that commercial?
Kaitlan, do you mind telling us real quick if you have a reaction on what the president said about you during the speech? Do you think Trump went too far, Kaitlan, with that joke?
Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So the White House Correspondents' Dinner, the rescheduled one, occurred recently, and thankfully there were no issues, there were no incidents this time. Melania Trump did not attend, and Trump got to give the speech he was waiting to give this whole time. And I think where people are mistaken is to believe that he was there to make them laugh. I don't think he was trying to be funny. I think he was being serious a lot of the time.
But after hearing the gunshots, many people yelled, get down," which caused Nicki Minaj to start twerking. Do you believe it? Get down. She's the only one that really understood what that meant. It's quite an evening.
But when it came to speaking about Kaitlan Collins and basically bringing up the contention between him and her over the years, I don't think he was trying to be funny.
When they went to the Capitol and they were breaking into the Capitol, smashing windows, injuring police officers, why did it take you 3 hours to tell them to go home?
I don't believe it did. Oh, let me pull it out. I have to pull it out.
Mr. President, you won the White House in part because of high inflation. If your tariffs make prices go up...
Excuse me, we haven't asked you to speak yet, please. Right? I believe it's the largest crowd I've ever spoken to by twice. The biggest crowd, I think, bigger than the inaugurations, bigger than anything. And there was so much love and friendship. It was the most amazing thing. People were crying. They were like, wait a minute, let me finish. And those people have been abused by you and by others and by the politicians, by the Democrats. They're dumb people. They want to have open borders. They want to have transgender mutilization of your children. They want to have men playing in women's sports. They want to have high taxes. They turned down, they fought us on the tax.
Thank you, press. Thank you. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Keep moving.
Obama.
But Joe Biden didn't ignore a subpoena to get those documents back like you did.
And so that's the question. 1,850 boxes.
But that's the question that investigators have, I think, is why you held on to those documents when you knew the federal government was seeking them and then had given you a subpoena to return them.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Can I talk?
Yeah, what's the answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple to, you're a nasty person, I'll tell you. A lot of people say that he wasn't guilty of anything. He served 4 months in jail, and they say that he was not guilty of anything, that what he did, well, you don't know much about crypto. You know nothing about nothing, you fake news. But let me just tell you that he was somebody that, as I was told, I don't know him. I don't believe I've ever met him. But I've been told by a lot of support. He had a lot of support. And they said that what he did is not even a crime. It wasn't a crime. CNN's a very corrupt organization, but with a corrupt reporter standing right there. Never smiles. She never smiles. She's a young, beautiful woman, never smiles. I never see a smile off her face. I see her standing there with hatred in her eyes. Like she has hatred because we have borders, because we have a strong military, because we cut our taxes, because we do things that everybody wanted, and then we win our election in a massive landslide. We win 87% of the counties in this country. Nobody's ever heard of a thing like that. And that's because we're doing the right job. And we took a detour down to Iran because we can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon under any circumstances. We can't let that happen. So the reporter should be happy. Sponsorship, but then I informed her that it wasn't her on the Bud Light can. It was Dylan Mulvaney.
And one person to respond is Dylan Mulvaney himself. He's got a few things to say. He's been so busy on Broadway. Well, he left his show in May. But anyway, he's been so busy on Broadway that he didn't have time to respond. So let's take a look.
Hi, is this a good time? Well, it's definitely an interesting time because my name is Dylan Mulvaney and the President of the United States said my name in his speech 4 times on Friday night. I couldn't respond right away because yesterday I had tickets to see Meg Stalter and O'Mary, but now I think I'd like to say a little something. Firstly, I would like to congratulate CNN's Kaitlan Collins on her award and tell her that I'm incredibly honored to be compared to her in any way, and I hope that she keeps doing all the great work.
Yeah, of course he's going to be flattered to be compared to her because he wants to be a woman, which is something he can never be. But she's not going to be flattered to be compared to him because I'm sure she doesn't want to be compared to a man. And I personally think you're playing a really silly game when you're a woman who claims that men can be women. Because then you've got to pretend that you're not offended when you get compared to a cross-dressing man. This is what you've got to stand by when you're a woman pushing that lie that men can become women.
Now, the president also brought up a video I did over 3 years ago. And mind you, I've been kind of flying under the radar, keeping up a pretty low profile, just like doing my little musicals, singing, dancing. And yet I am still his topic of conversation all these years later. And it seems to me that I might be like the one that got away for these men. Like I am permanently burned into their retinas. I am microchipped into their minds. And when I first heard that the president put me on his diss track, I was like, well, that's not good.
Trump is a businessman and he cannot help but notice what happened to Bud Light. None of us can. Even till today, they have never recovered. The new #1 beer brand is Modelo. Bud Light got taken over by other brands. It lost its #1 spot. And that's because of Dylan Mulvaney. And people decided that they didn't want to be associated with the brand anymore. And it was a major boycott. And it worked. Bud Light has never recovered.
Did Anheuser-Busch take on a political role? Why did they do it?
It wasn't just Anheuser-Busch. You saw tons of companies over the last couple of years taking on a political role. It was Disney, it was Target, it was Nike. And unfortunately, they were really coerced in doing this. It was a combination of the Biden administration pushing companies to get more involved in politics, doing the business the Biden administration couldn't get done through the front door of politics. They had to do it through the back door of companies. Companies like BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, pushing a very aggressive ESG, DEI agenda, and a bunch of consultants as well that pushed all companies to get involved in political issues, whether it was asking companies to defund the police like Salesforce did, asking companies to overturn election integrity laws like Coca-Cola did. And then as we saw with Bud Light, unfortunately, this was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back when they got involved in sort of the transgender issues with Dylan Mulvaney.
Has Bud Light recovered?
They haven't at all. I think that's one of the most interesting parts about this story is that they lost 30% of their customers, and millions of customers, billions of dollars of shareholder value over the last couple of years. They continue to shed customers. The stock price is almost off 50% from when they made this partnership with Dylan Mulvaney.
Why? Because they decided to shove Dylan Mulvaney down our throats when we already had had enough. And that was a step too far. Bud Light paid the price. There were other brands that aligned with this individual, but by the time it got to Bud Light, people were fed up. And now we're seeing Sophie Cunningham, her shoes selling out. For Adidas, of all brands, her shoes are selling out. And I think that sends a clear message. If you want your brand to be successful, do not shove wokery down people's throats.
When a few weeks ago, I would have probably been more upset about this. But luckily, I was ghosted last month by a hookup who I really liked. And what I realized from that experience was that I shouldn't want to be with someone who doesn't really want to be with me.
Dylan loves to document this sort of thing, dating disasters. You've put yourself in this position because you're a man pretending to be a woman.
So maybe I shouldn't want to be professionally supported by an administration that doesn't personally support me or so many others in this country. Food for thought. In fact, maybe being publicly mocked and criticized by this administration is actually like the greatest compliment of all. Because it puts me in the company of some of like the most brilliant, empathetic people in our world today. But I do still wonder, like,
Very empathetic towards everybody but girls and women who don't want to compete against boys. You don't want boys and men in their locker rooms. Ask the girls who have received all sorts of bullying online and threats.
Why is it so important to them that I don't find success? Like, what is it that I have that they don't? Oh my God, freedom. I am free in a way that they will never have the privilege to experience, and they want to use their power to take away my freedom. But what they don't understand is that my freedom has like zero contingency on what they can provide for me, because my freedom is fully dependent on the moment that I acknowledged my real authentic self in every day since.
Yeah, this is a free country and we are all free to live how we want to live. The issue is when an ideology of what, 1% of the population, is that something we keep getting reminded of, it's just 1% of the population, starts to infringe upon the rights of others. It's when a man pretending to be a woman seeks to take away rights from real women and girls, like our right to be free from men in our spaces and in our sports. Women have that right. Children should be free to grow into who they are, to experience puberty, and to grow into healthy adults without predatory doctors pushing ideologies on them and pushing drugs and procedures on them that permanently alter their bodies, that chemically and physically castrate. Children should be free to be who they really are. And when they're adults, preferably when their brains are fully developed, they can decide if they want to have certain procedures, and they can do their research and have the capacity to do the research and take in the information. Not when they're 9 years old, not when they're 13, 15, 17. Now, Dylan Mulvaney is somebody, last time I checked, or at least hasn't confirmed, having, the full procedure that comes with transitioning, the bottom surgery. As far as I'm aware, Dylan only went halfway. And that's his right to do that. But guess what? He was given that option to grow into who he is and then decide that he wants to do all these procedures as an adult. But when you put kids on puberty blockers, that option is taken away from them. When you give 15-year-olds double mastectomies, that option is taken away from them. People who are enjoying the rights to decide what they do with their bodies are denying that to children by advocating for them to have procedures and drugs pushed upon them before they're old enough to consent.
And sharing that with the world, it's just icing on the cake. But they don't want me to be able to share that, because it would mean young people realizing that if someone like me can be themselves and find success and freedom, then they can find success and freedom for themselves too. So now I have some action items for us. Are you ready? Number 1, support trans and non-binary people. This is the time. I am sounding the alarm. We need you to stand up for us, vote for us, donate to our causes, hire us, and support the businesses who hire us. But most importantly, love us. That is what we need more than anything right now, publicly and proudly. Number 2, if a young person is seeking acceptance, we are going to love them. And if you are a young person watching this, I need you to hold onto every piece of yourself tightly, because especially the parts that they are trying to make you feel guilty about or trying to scare you into abandoning. And
So I find it kind of ironic that he's using this sort of wording.
I need you to find people who will help you carry those pieces into a kinder day. Okay? Okay. And number 3, when they try to judge you for your support of us, take that as the greatest compliment. Ladies, when they tell you that you look like a trans woman, wear it like a medal. Men, when they tell you that being attracted to trans women makes you gay, I want you to Hillary Duff PSA their ass so hard that they don't even know what just happened.
So is Dylan now a straight woman? Is that what he's purporting to be? Is he now purporting to be a straight woman? Because he dresses like this and puts on a fake voice that people have noticed during his show on Broadway, by the way. Supporters of his have criticized his performance, speaking about his singing ability. Dylan was in the Book of Mormon on Broadway, and COVID ruined his Broadway career. It must be very difficult as a singer having to sing in a false voice. One of the best things about being a singer is finding your voice, how you sound, not trying to emulate somebody else, but finding your true, authentic voice. And unfortunately, Dylan had to give that up to pretend to be a woman. And his own fans are noticing his Broadway show, his performance, got mixed reviews. And one of the criticisms was that his singing wasn't as good as the other performers, and his acting wasn't as good as the other performers. And what I'm seeing right now is bad acting.
And to the dolls, let's have each other's backs. And lastly, to the president, thank you for reminding me that I am more powerful than I even knew. And to quote my favorite recording artist, Shia Diamond, I am America. Love ya.
Baby, I am America.
Just pure and utter narcissism. Definitely, I don't think he could care less about Kaitlan Collins. It's all about him. It's all about, him being mentioned, his name. And now he thinks he's one of the most powerful people in America. So powerful that you couldn't influence people to buy beer. It always comes back to the kids. He thinks he was the topic of President Trump's monologue. Yes, that's all Trump talked about. Dylan Mulvaney. Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. So not much has changed there. The performance continues. Kaitlan Collins also had a response to President Trump.
I think he does surround himself with people who praise him or laugh at his jokes. And when he's confronted with someone who is asking a challenging question or a critical question of his policy or strategy in the Iran war, I think he doesn't like it and he lashes out over it.
Oh, yeah, they really asked Biden the tough questions, didn't they? And they really asked Kamala the tough questions. Journalists are no longer just putting out the facts. They are propagandists. And Kaitlan Collins is a huge part of that. And yeah, Trump doesn't like her. At Kaitlan Collins, explain this. The Kaitlan Collins challenge. I challenge Kaitlan Collins to ask any Democrat who voted against girls' Title IX protections about their reasoning and how they answer their daughters, granddaughters, female constituents when asked, why don't you protect me? Challenge is on. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. Take care of yourselves and God willing, I will see you in the next video. And a huge thanks to all of those who have hyped my videos. It is greatly appreciated.